As she prepares to step into a new role at the University of Toronto, Susan Christoffersen is closing out her 5-year term as Dean of the Rotman School of Management, a period that reshaped the school in the face of real uncertainty for higher education. Now, we're taking a step back to reflect on what she's learned, what's changed, and what comes next, for both Rotman and for business education more broadly. I'm Megan Haynes, Director of Strategic Communication at Rotman, and this is the Dean's Exit Interview. Thank you so much for joining us today. We really appreciate it. When you think about your time as Dean, what do you hope your lasting impact will be?
I think one of the things that I really want to sort of leave as a legacy here is really be thought of as a curriculum innovator. During my time, both as Dean and as Vice Dean, I was responsible for overseeing the development of many different new programs. First of all, the 3 new specialized programs, our MFRM, MMA, our GDPA program, and now most recently the Masters of Management and our 1-year MBA. So really sort of that creative element and diversifying the types of programs that we're doing to sort of make it accessible and business education accessible to people at a broader range. As well, I've really spent a lot of time thinking about partnering and leveraging the strength of University of Toronto. That we offer different programs that work with our Faculty of Arts and Science, with engineering, and really trying to sort of build that out. I think the third thing that I've been really focused on is building community, and that's something that I think needs to continue to be built, but certainly trying to get people back in the office, students thinking about how our education has transformed. Those would be, at least as a starting point, some of the things which I would hope would be retained for the school as it moves forward. In addition to sort of the degree programs that we were working on, we also spent a lot of time thinking about our non-degree executive education programs. And over the last 5 years, we've sort of more than doubled the type of revenues and really built out that programming. So that's something I'm enormously proud of. And I hope that that is going to be, again, a long-lasting legacy for the school, and that it can continue to sort of build on that growth, broadening the type of executive programs that we offer. The benefits that I see in doing that is because it's bringing the corporations into the school and broadening the type of impact that we can have.
So looking ahead 5, 10, 15 years, what do you actually see as the biggest challenge facing business schools as they look at this new world of work?
I think AI is going to be a massive disruptor, and that's not just for business schools, that's also for universities and education in general. The types of skills that we're really going to need are going to be evolving, and how people interact with AI technology, how that AI technology is going to be brought into organizations. When these organizations are going through such a massive shift, disruption, how do we as business schools help, guide those future leaders in terms of that disruption? So I see that as being probably one of the biggest challenges as a business school is how are you going to sort of help people in adapting to that new reality. As business schools in the Canadian context, I think we continue, we need to sort of make sure that we are, getting the jobs for our students, providing the salary outcomes that they're looking for, certainly for our MBAs, and helping them find jobs, not just, within the GTA area, but across Canada.
Why do you think it's also valuable for corporations to come and learn here and be exposed to sort of some of the insights that we have to offer?
Well, we're in the talent business. It's very important for us to have tight ties with the corporate world and to have them here and to really leverage our alumni network that's out in that corporate world, bring them in, provide mentorship guidance to our students, and hopefully, help them find jobs and provide us with information about what are those skills that they are looking for.
So AI is obviously dominating the conversation.
Yes.
It's everywhere.
Yeah.
But what other changes do business schools need to be paying attention to make sure that they can prepare their students for the future?
But I think one of the things we have to really help our students understand is a thing that's going to help you out in the business community, I really think, are those human skills that make you uniquely human. The interpersonal, the ability for you to gain trust with other people, the ability for you to work with people, organize individuals. We need to spend more time on that. I think we benefit here at Rotman. Our self-development lab and our leadership development lab are really labs that are there to help students build those interpersonal skills. And so as much as we talk about AI as that technology, and we need to sort of understand what it can do and how it can sort of help with productivity across different organizations, one of the things that, the skills that we truly need to be doubling down on are our human skills. And those things that make us uniquely human and can help us out in the workforce.
As technology transforms how we work, what uniquely human skills do we need to be doubling down on?
So I think we need to be able to build trust, because so much of negotiations is the fact that somebody has trust in you. The other thing is curiosity and being creative. Those skills, I think, are really going to differentiate someone in the workforce, because people that can help problem solve, who are resilient, who can sort of see past a problem and help think about a world that might be slightly different with new technologies, those types of skills are the ones which I believe are really important, but they're also ones which I'm hearing are important from employers. So, and those are ones which increasingly employers are trying to screen for when they're looking at people is does this person have these competencies of curiosity, adaptability, and resilience? Those three type of competencies I'm hearing over and over when I talk to different organizations.
What will it take for business schools to stay competitive, either locally within Canada or internationally, in the next decade?
Well, I think, business education is really evolving, and it's evolving very quickly. Over the last decade, I would sort of say the MBA has been under attack. People have wondered, why do we have an MBA? Do we need MBAs anymore? And I actually think in many ways we probably need them more now than we ever have, because we have organizations that are going through massive change. And the MBA, was really structured to build leaders that can help organizations through this kind of change. And so I really believe there still is a role for the MBA, but business schools need to advocate why that's the case and really articulate what value they're bringing to the workforce. So we've really tried to refocus the types of portfolio of programs that we have, where we have both the specialized programs, but also in pre-experience, we have our undergraduate programs, but thinking of the MBA as that pinnacle degree where we're developing those leadership skills that I think are absolutely necessary as companies and organizations are going through, massive changes, where they're getting pressures from AI, geopolitical, and we do need those leaders and we need to train them. So in order to remain competitive, I think we really need to focus on those skills and building that within our programs.
What will be the biggest challenge new graduates face as they enter the workforce?
One of the things that they are going to be challenged with is that the job that they're entering now is likely going to change over the period of time that they're in it. They have to be ready for change, and they have to sort of show that creative side. And I think this is one of the things that our students, I think, are well poised for, because they have been through rigorous training, and I do think they are, ready to sort of make those transitions that once they're out in the workforce, because they're able to learn and they're able to adapt to new situations. I think this is probably going to be more critical now than it has been, because people understood what it was to go into, consulting or into a bank and certain levels, and people understood what that job was. But those jobs may be shifting over time. And so one of the biggest challenges for our students going in is that their jobs, their job descriptions, their job roles, how they're interacting, they may be interacting and managing agents, not people. And so, that adaptability as they leave the works or enter the workforce is going to be absolutely critical.
On the flip side, what opportunities do you think this generation has as they enter the workforce that they may not have fully realized yet?
One of the things is that when you're going through this period of massive change we're undergoing with disruption, is there's an opportunity to sort of create your own path, right? You might be able to create an opportunity for yourself, which otherwise might have been more difficult. So sometimes with challenging times comes opportunities, and you can maybe craft your own direction. You're seeing more people being maybe more entrepreneurial, not just entrepreneurs, but entrepreneurial within, their own workplace in terms of how do they design their jobs. There might be more ability for them to do that as they move forward.
An opportunity to create your own dream job.
Yes,
I like that.
yeah.
What advice would you give new grads as they start their career?
Be confident, be courageous. I think having that confidence that you can actually achieve what you want to achieve. It seems daunting as you're going out into, a new role, and you can't, it's not uncommon. People don't know exactly where they're going to end up. I mean, I look at my own career now that I'm actually going to be, completing my term and starting a new role within the president's office. It's a bit daunting because I'm used to this role. I know this role. I understand this role. But as I'm sort of thinking about sort of moving into something else, that's the unknown. And I'm not sure, about different things about that role. But I feel confident because I know that I've been able to accomplish things in this role. And when you are going into something that really interests you, which really motivates you, I think you can accomplish anything that you want to.
Looking back at your own career, what advice do you wish you had received early on?
There was many times, I think, along my path where I doubted myself. The other thing I think is I really underestimated the importance of networking and talking to people and being out in the community. That, sort of figured, just head down, study, and my hard work will be noticed, and somebody's going to notice that I'm a smart person that can, work hard, and they should, put me into roles. That's not how it works. You need to sort of really be out there talking to people, telling people what your aspirations are, advocating for yourself, bringing forward ideas, letting people know what you're thinking. Because if you're sort of hoping that somebody's going to notice, I mean, that might happen, but you can sort of take a much more proactive role in your own destiny by being out there networking with people. You never know how that one conversation might change your whole trajectory. That one conversation where people really believe in who you are, what you stand for, ideas that you might bring to the table. And that can only happen when you're out there talking to people. For me, starting early on, I was much more on, keeping to the books, doing well. And the other thing is to make sure that you are always the best version of yourself in every group, every instance that you can be. Again, you never know how being rude to someone can can catch up with you later on. And it's always important to sort of really put your best foot forward in every walk of life that you might be working in.
Did you have any final thoughts or final words you wanted to share?
It has been an immense privilege and pleasure for me to sort of be the dean of this incredible institution, representing staff, students, faculty every day. And I just have nothing except the greatest respect for the people that are working and studying here. And I have a lot of hope and aspiration for the school going forward. Just seeing the energy that I see with people and the desire to sort of really make this school globally relevant and great.
Well, thank you so much for joining us, Susan, and for your work here at Rotman. It's been greatly appreciated. Susan will continue her work at the University of Toronto as Presidential Advisor on Innovation Investments, while remaining part of the Rotman community as a professor of finance. From all of us here at Rotman, thanks so much for watching.